Welcome into the Smooth Breakfast. This is Smooth 98.1, your love music, love live station. 17 minutes past 8 a.m. on the first day of May 2025. It's May Day. It's a holiday. We're having great times in the studio. Yours truly is Ayokunmi. And we're about to walk into the world of entertainment, table shaking, and feel good stuff because this is the grapevine where we get to talk about all the entertainment just making the rounds. And you are in for an absolute treat, as you always are. Welcome along to the show. You can join us, as always, by sending your messages in on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number. We're also on YouTube, streaming at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. That's on YouTube. You can join us there. Leave your comments in the chat box. I'll take them alongside the WhatsApp messages. All right, it's a Thursday, so you know that it's a full house, literally and otherwise. James Silas and, of course, Oris are in with me this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ayo. And Oris, wherever you're listening from, shout out to you if you're listening from since day one. And I say you're the real MVP. And we're live.
Hey, well, good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Mr. James Silas. With whom I have been through traumatic experiences. Yeah, good morning, listeners, wherever you are. So I guess that would be good morning if you're in Lagos or if you are in this particular time zone. And if you good afternoon if you are, I guess, somewhere else, or good evening if you are somewhere further. Indeed, yes. Indeed. Yes, we are back. Indeed, we are back. And of course, we global. That's why we say good morning, afternoon, evening, good night, wherever it is that you are. Thank you for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1. Okay, guys, we have a couple of things to get into, but I had made it a point of duty, a mental note, even though I didn't put it in writing, that before I did any other thing, I was going to get your thoughts on the headies. Yes, we talk about the headies on Tuesdays with the Rabo and all that, but I also want to get your perspectives because I've been hearing things about trauma and so on and so forth. So, does it have anything to do with the headies, or is that something else? Please. Okay. James and I were this on Sunday. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
My screen is frozen. My screen is frozen. Oris, go ahead.
on Sunday, night, into the early hours of the morning. I think I left the venue landmark around 5 or so. I think the scene kind of ended by 3:30 or 4. Can't remember now, So it was really, really long. Anyway, let's just say that I guess everybody did their best. We were, like I said, we were right there live. And it wasn't, I don't know. It was not one of the best ceremonies, I think. Yeah. Just too many things that went. So that Murphy's law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But this time it wasn't like anything that shouldn't go wrong went wrong. No, so, that's bad. No. It's yeah. I mean, I don't think we can even I don't know, cover it or paper over the cracks. It was not a great show. Yeah. Of course, a few people were made it what maybe I don't know, maybe not worthy, but at least for the moment they were on stage, it was good. Magneto, I think, was the very first person who showed up on stage. Was it him? Either him or King Malik, who I felt did quite well. Magneto especially was exceptional. Then there's a guy from East Africa, Congo, right? Enos B, who also had a great performance and then had an even greater speech, and made jokes. I mean, he was just perfect. But I think there may be one or two other moments that were, kind of.
Juma Jukes' performance was good too.
Oh yeah, Juma Jukes. No, for me, I have my bias against Juma Jukes. So that's my. And I think I know why. Yeah, but I'll keep that in my pocket. Yeah, so that's my personal bit. But yes, Juma Jukes also had a decent performance. But yeah, so then you had a ceremony where you needed people to show up their personal charisma, to kind of make certain things worthy, other than the ceremony itself just being a grand ceremony. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what went wrong. Maybe James can tell us. But yeah, if sitting in the audience, just James, did you feel the exact same way? I mean, bearing in mind the last two editions before this one were held in outside the country in the US. So I mean, there should have been enough time to, should I say, study what was done there. Okay, let's bring this home. Let's do this. Let's fix this and all that. I mean, did they learn anything before bringing it back home for this edition?
No, I mean, you cannot try to evaluate this one based off the two episodes or two editions that were held in America. The head is actually 17. This is the 17th head. So regardless of where it was held, this was just an advancement of what has been happening from where it started. Do you understand? The headies on Sunday was was just a different ballgame entirely, from production to stage management to and to think that preparation was actually, to a great extent, was good. I mean, this is an award that was supposed to hold last year, but because of certain factors, was pushed to this year. Do you understand? So you see that we had a long time to prepare for the headies. But excuse me, I'm sorry. But I mean, the factors are just too many to count, but if you look at Mr. Ayo Animashaun, his Instagram, he wrote something on his Instagram, while appreciating people that were on board this year. But he also wrote, if you read through that his statement, you have an idea of what may have gone wrong. The production was outsourced. This is not to say that the problem came from the company that produced it, but I think that there were a lot of loopholes that were not sorted in good time, and this sort of affected everything. But I think that for every experience or for every event like this, there's just been a new lesson learned. I want to believe that the next one is going to be better, because a lot of lessons were learned or would have been learned from this past one. I mean, we're talking about, myself always, we're talking that time about what was going on social media. I always use the word bloodbath. That was like people came all like it was a feast for everybody to talk, But I still want us to believe and understand that the headies is still what we have here, pretty much in Africa. And the best we can do, apart from trying to tear it down or try to criticize what was wrong and all of that, is for us to also understand that we can still come together and still make it better. If you don't, we're not happy about what happened this last edition. I mean, give us an advice. Tell the organizers, okay, this is what we think we can do. This is how I think we can do it better. And just by God's grace, we'll see a better show next year. I mean, it's not easy. It's still 17. We cannot compare it to any other. The Grammy is on 68, going to 69. Do you understand? I mean, they are not mates. So we need to stop comparing, but start looking for ways to improve on every performance every year. That's my take.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take, because you're right. I don't think there's any. Okay, I think these other guys started one music award show, and we all know that there used to be something called the Mamas, which was known by the American TV station MTV at the time. But I'm not sure. I don't know if they even go to 10. I don't remember. I can't remember that anymore. So in a way, credits where it belongs. Hades has survived almost 20 years, and that's remarkable in a crazy country like this. Oh yeah, to even get to 17 is like massive. But yes, we still can't say that. We still can't what's the word now? Praise some of what we see, because again, 17 years should also mean 16 opportunities to get it right. You understand? And if that's not something that you've come close to, it then feels like people are giving you so much. Because that's one of the things I think I saw on social media. The blog that I was talking to James about off air, was, I think at some point you were like 20,000 people watching it on YouTube. That's incredibly massive. So that means that there is a lot of people who really, really are interested in seeing who exactly gets recognized year in, year out. To have 20,000 people, trying to watch. So unfortunately, it's one of those things where to whom much is given, a whole lot is expected. You understand? Because yes, I'm not sure even some of our biggest stars get 10,000 people watching them on Instagram or whatever platform, at any point in time. So that's really quite massive. So it means that Nigerians really, really like the head, or really, really want it to do better. I just think that it is time that the head is rewarded that trust that Nigerians have kind of put on it. Of course, a lot of pressure, but frankly, sitting right there in the hall, I felt, man, there's just a lot that this can do a whole lot better from the award. Especially, I think this year the real issue wasn't even the stage or something, because I mean we've had that problem before. I think we had this over the years, where I felt like the stage isn't quite right. This year, it was a really, really good looking stage, honestly. At least from where we sat. Really, really good looking stage. The issue was
other
just
issues.
that, yeah, it was like organizational. If you show up now to say, hey, this person is supposed to win this award, the idea is that you don't expect, I don't know, 5, 10 minutes to go past because somebody else shows up on stage to say, hey, this is the next person to call, who's in for this next performer. It was just like so many gaps in
It felt disjointed, kind of.
Exactly. I think Nancy, who has been blessed us all, was not unfortunately the person who goes this, especially if it's solo, going to be the person who is probably getting heavily criticized. I saw something on anyway, it was everywhere on Instagram and on Twitter, where somebody was like, what's wrong with the host? You get? To be fair, it's not entirely Nancy's fault because the show itself was kind of there are so many lapses. But eventually she's the face of the 17th edition. So when the issue is written, it is going to be a face. Like, you know what? You are the one who kind of contributed to the unfortunate situation of the heady. So anyway, so my larger point is this. Nigerians want to see the heady succeed.
Definitely.
I think it is time the headies rewarded Nigerians back with that. You know, we're doing like a good show based on the trust that Nigerians have put on it. 17 years is like great. So congratulations to Mr. Ayo and Imachal. Let's just hope it gets better.
Yeah, let's just hope it gets better. And all those kinks and those issues, kind of taken out of rotation. I mean, having award winners, no plaques and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
by the way, I've been to an award before, we actually won. And what happens is so funny. What happens is basic. You get the plaque. Once you go backstage, it's one of the secrets of award shows that many of them don't do the plaques before people because you don't know who's going to win anyway. So you don't actually have the full thing right there. You don't have, if there are 36 categories, you don't have 36 plaques. Okay. You only have maybe 3 or 4. What happens is that you go backstage and maybe you win and you go back to somebody grabs it from you and takes it back. Everybody does it. From America to everybody, exactly. You get? So it just felt like a basic thing that should have been taken care of, and then that wasn't done. So that even made it look a little but it's kind of like all those Mr. Hotspots. I remember back in the day when I used to run primary school.
You've been through a lot, Oris.
Yeah. That's to say that I used to win stuff. I don't know what happened to me as an adult. Anyway, so I remember as a primary school, I did win something. Unfortunately, the trophies at the end, I finished. And then I got a handshake. But that's primary school. Right? That's like a small thing. This is a global, this is like a continental. This is like James said, it's probably the only one we have on the continent, actually. There used to be Cora. Oh, there's another one. There used to be Cora. Cora didn't even last up to 6-7 years before like they had like allegations, and then that whole thing kind of collapsed. So anyway, so it just felt weird that you win and you get a handshake on stage. I'm like, because I'm a handshake, give me my freaking plan. Anyway, but yes, let's just hope it gets better.
Yes, indeed. Let's just hope it gets better. All right. Now we've taken a look at the headies. I really wanted to do this morning before doing any other thing. Let's take our first break. And then when we get back in, we'll take a look at some other issues that have been going on in the entertainment space. Keep it tuned to The Grapevine on Smooth 98.1.
Well, yeah, so I mean, it was a film actually back in the day, 2015, that I won the Entertainment Journalist of the Year. And I remember that they gave, once I just went on stage, gave my terrible speech. As I just went back behind the curtains, somebody just, congratulations, grabbed the thing from me, takes me to where they take photos, and then came back inside and gave
the next person.
Yeah, so that's just how it's done.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard.
No, it shouldn't be that hard. Oh, man. I don't know, man. But I guess James is right. I guess the producers kind
of.
Or
did they give it to you?
You said? James?
Did they later give you the award?
Oh, no, yes.
Yes,
they maybe about a month or 2 later, they sent it to my office. I was still in Lagos Island at the time. Big box with the stuff with my name on it and everything, yeah. Of course, the thing went to go and scatter, so I don't have it today. But anyway, I have the photos, thank goodness. But but they sent it about a month or 2 after. Elaborate kind of thing.
Yeah. That's what the head is supposed to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Welcome back into the Grapevine on a Thursday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life, love great gist and conversation as well. This is the Smooth Breakfast. Yours truly, Ayokunmi here. Alongside me are Oris and, of course, James Silas.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. We're back. We're live. You can also join us as you always do. Send those thoughts into us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 981. That is the WhatsApp number. We're also on YouTube. We're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can leave your comments in the chat box there. I'll be taking them alongside the messages as we get along. Tyler says, I was waiting for Oris' assessment of the headies. Aura farming things.
Right? Sorry, everybody follows me on Twitter because there's no he's making a commentary on. I posted the photo of what's his name of Odumodu. Black just holding on stage and I named it Aura farming. So I'm sure that's what's referring.
Tayo clearly is one of those that wants to catch
you. Tayo, please don't catch. Oh, catch me online, please. But not
your All right, let's get back into the nitty-gritty of the matter. Let's talk about Rema, one of the winners at the headies. Now, he claimed that Nigerian parents don't chastise children who contribute financially to the family. Like he made the claim during a recent conversation with content creator Enzo. Now, the singer had advised Enzo to get a tattoo like his, but the content creator said his mother wouldn't approve of it. Now, he recalled how his mother had kept malice with him for days for braiding his hair. Now, Rema then urged him to work harder, claiming that parents don't chastise children who are breadwinners.
Unfortunately, this just tells you the country we are in. I always say that when stuff like this happens, or like where it looks like there is an oversized or an outsized importance of financial matters, look at the country it's coming from. It's either America, where they are heavily money focused, or a poor country like Nigeria. Because considering how heavily more, at least in public, we are claim to be, Rema is right in that money gets you a lot of passes in this country where we like religion, where we like morality. At the same time, we like a lot of money as well. So it feels so in a way like, okay, if you are actually debating that, will your parents have the balls to say, hey, we don't like this? Fact of the matter is, some of them will, to be honest. But you still have parents who are also aura farming. but again, many of them will just say, you know what, just let it go. After all, this is the man of the house.
Just because he has made money somehow.
Yes. So yeah, it's a shame, but it's kind of exactly where we are as people. Of course, the point is not all parents, which is true, but a lot of them actually will say, hey, in fact, they'll just keep quiet. They don't like it, but they feel like they do not have any rights anymore to say something. And you see it across different spaces. If, for instance, on my street, there's maybe two professors who have done wall-breaking stuff, but maybe they don't have physical cash, and it's like an event. On the high table, they probably call the big man, who's probably a thug somewhere, than call those guys to the high table. Why?
Right.
Because of money. So yeah, so it's unfortunate that we have this. It looks to me like a discrepancy between what we say we are, what we really are like. So Rema, you are correct. I wish you weren't correct, but I have to say, yeah, I think it's correct.
James, Oris made a very, very interesting point there. And if we look at Nigeria right now, we see that in some sectors, a number of parents, they're ones pushing their children to do all sorts of funny things. Oh, mama, somebody's son is doing wire, he's doing Yahoo. What are you doing? Do you have two heads? Or if it's a girl, oh, what are you doing with your body? You are this and that, and so on. So we live in a time where even parents now are pushing the children to do all sorts of funny things. But anyways, let me get your perspective on this matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. I think plus the economy, plus the society that we're living in right now, a lot of factors are just sort of changing the what used to or what never used to be, But truthfully, if we just put in context of what that conversation between Rema and the interviewer, you realize that first of all, there's the kind of money you have that you will not be saying my mommy said, my mommy will. Do you understand?
Really?
Why Rema said you need to work harder. So that first of all, you have to leave your mother's roof. Then you now go to the part where you want to be a man of your own to do the things that you wish to do for yourself, But truthfully, the people or children that have money hardly listen to anybody's or their parents' advice, because if you know how to advise, you probably would have had money or had a trust fund for me. No shots fired. No shots fired. I'm just
I don't know, James.
I'm following the context.
But wisdom,
So,
but wisdom
yeah.
doesn't always translate to, oh, you'll be a billionaire now.
Exactly.
Say that again. Say that again.
Wisdom doesn't always translate to, oh, someone will be a billionaire. I mean, you can have all the wisdom, but not necessarily, oh, it translates to be a billionaire.
You cannot always
we know. But you see, you know Solomon in the Bible. Solomon had wisdom and also had plenty money. That's why we could not differentiate. So as far as this is concerned, if you look at, even when you look at some families that maybe the younger one now becomes successful. There's always tendency that they will call the guy for, they will reach out to the guy for family meetings. They will, even the senior one might not even have an opinion. They'll tell the senior one, pray for us, and then, but decision making, they will say, somehow, So it's what is the society that we find ourselves in. It's what it is, man.
But I mean, it's not this, but James, haba. This is not fair. I feel like you can speak at it a little bit more.
Bro, that's context, so that's what Rema said. It's not me. Rema said it to that guy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness, I don't think it's fair, but unfortunately, I mean, it's so hard. James is correct, but yeah, it breaks my heart to admit it.
That is the reality that we're living in.
Work hard, though.
But I don't think is it work, bro? You think it's work hard?
Okay, get money. Just have money.
Get money. Figure it out. Don't make it
have money.
Thank you for that caveat. Yes. Make your money cleanly.
Yes, it's not going to crime. Yeah, but please try and figure it out, because man, I think that's the thing with the parents, right? Is that you understand that outside in the world, in the world of Nigeria, if you, no matter how James said, no matter how much knowledge you have, if you are not wealthy, or if you cannot take care of yourself, at least financially, there are many people who would insult.
Bro, Oris, you're talking too much. Listen. If you don't make it in this life, you go explain tire. Forget. That's all. Let's talk about Akon.
What is that thing? If you don't get money,
hide your face.
No evidence, you go explain tire.
Oh my goodness. All right, you guys, let's move on. let's talk about
let's talk about Akon.
Okay, no. Let's talk about our own first before we talk about Akon.
Akon is our own now. I know that.
Let's talk about Olamide, who has released a new single titled Kai. Now that's featuring Wizkid. It was released 2 days ago, if I'm correct. And of course, both of them have collaborated before. I think 14 years after they worked on Omoto Show, if I'm correct. That's 2011. So Olamide is teasing a new album, new self-titled 17-track album, scheduled for release on June the 3rd, 2025. And all the Olamide stands, I don't know what they call them. Wizkid is Wizkid FC, David is 30BG. I don't know what they call Olamide's, fans and all that. But anyways, new music coming up. Now, I want to bring in something here. Tolani Badge, not too long ago, talked about, Afrobeat stars not watering down their legend, bringing out, quote unquote, whack music and so on and so forth. Now, this was before this actually happened. But do you guys want to, bear that in mind and share your thoughts on what to expect with this album?
Well, first things first, I have to admit that I haven't listened to Kai, which is song. I know besides the motivation, they've had Kana around 5-6 years ago. Anyway, but I mean, looking forward to it as always. But fact of the matter, I think I said this when Olamide released what they said is supposed to be the first part of this project. It feels weird. They say the guy, which is an EP, is the first part of this project, and then there's this album coming out. I'm not sure how it's not happened. Anyway, but whatever they say, that's fine. But I remember saying right here on air actually. I remember saying that Olamide's principal contribution to the scene as we speak isn't his music anymore. It is the people he can support.
Right.
I don't think Olamide has been especially relevant for maybe 4 years or so. In my head, musically. Yes, musically, of course. That's what I mean. In terms of his own music. Of course, he had a couple of minor hits, but nothing quite as big as when he was doing the Baddest Guy Ever or the Blues Okay. That particular period. I think Olamide had he had a crazy run, maybe 7 years, 7 albums. That's even minus the one he did before his name. with Fino, the two kids, the collaborative album with him. It was like a 7 year, 7 album. That time, that was Olamide's, in my own view, his peak as a musician. I think since then, he's been more valuable as somebody who supported Adekunle.
Yeah.
Who supported Lucas to have his own time.
Ashake and so
of course,
on.
and then Sake. In fact, if you think about it in a way, you might say that is Olamide raising this so quick after the other, although he's always been a very let's get this thing done out of the way. He's always been that kind of a guy. But it feels again, especially weird that now that Asake is almost on the I don't know if it's a warpath with him in a way. He's coming out with this new music, 17 tracks. That's kind of a lot. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'm not expecting anything particularly zeitgeist catching, anything particularly earth-breaking from Olamide as musician as we speak. Only because, like I said, I believe that his primary duty now to us is who is the next person in line. And since Ashake has started to flee from him, let's see who shows up next. So that's the suspense I'm interested in, not really.
All right, James, are you on the same boat? Are you expecting anything again from this album, or let's see how it goes?
I mean, I just expect immature release. Olamide has rebranded over the years. His persona, his look, everything has changed over the years. And like Oris rightfully said, this is not really the next song. I mean, okay, it might just be in terms of ownership, but don't forget I also did Totori with, even though it's a song for or by ID Kabasa, but it was just Olamide and Wizkid on it as well. So it's fingers crossed as per the album. I don't expect too much. I don't expect that much of what would I call it? Creative gymnastics on this particular project, but it's fingers crossed. Let's hear how it goes. Don't forget that the industry is still playing around singles. I don't think one of the days where albums were valued as much, but let's see what happens in this case. I mean, I'm a fan of Olamide. I've always listened to his album projects. In fact, for a lot of artists, I listen, but I know that for some of them, I don't really go back to want to play the whole album all over again because
that says something.
Yeah, but that that's a very good point. Yes, you mentioned actually. I'm trying to think about the last time we had an album that genuinely felt like the person behind it puts in. I mean, not a lot of work, but also a lot of creativity and great sounds. When was the last classic Afrobeat album that I can't think in my head? It's probably on my list. Maybe his first one. I honestly cannot think. I really, really, really cannot think about where was the last really great album.
It's that difficult.
Yeah, it's really that difficult. So yeah, so maybe James is on something when he says that the whole movement towards singles kind of like dulled the shine from albums. But I don't think necessarily because it's not. I don't think it's us. I think it's them. I think that the amount of effort people put into albums these days is really, really lackluster. They're looking for 2 hit singles or 3 hit singles, and then the rest of them, if you're famous enough, you get enough streams, and then you are fine.
Oris, have you also notice that the average length of song these days is 2 minutes?
No, because this is almost like a 4 or 5 year old thing by this point. Yes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and poof, that's the end. But I don't have an issue with that. I just want an album to be cohesive. And part of what I'm talking about really is really, to be honest, is also about Davido's last album, where I felt like, this is. I mean, to be fair, Davido has of the big 3. Davido is the one who doesn't have anything close to a classic album, which is kind of weird when you think about it. He's the one, we all know that Wizkid's first album is like almost an instant classic. But now Boys Run from Outside, his album Outside, to Twice as Tall. Fantastic one. That 3-album stretch was really, really impressive. Davido has never had a great album. He's had a very good one, which I think is a good time, but I don't think he's ever had a great album. And this one is not it's not even close. So maybe when Tonani was speaking, I don't know if she's talking about Davido in particular, but frankly, it really, really applies to Davido in a way because 5 doesn't move anything creatively for him. A few days ago, I remember listening to, I think only because of the heavy actually. They were playing, which song was this? A Davido song, either 1 million or something, one with that Adekunle years ago. I was also like, oh, this was a good song. I can't remember the last time Davido made me that excited. Anyway, but that's Davido. Point is that yes, James is right. There is a huge shift from the artists themselves away from making really, really great albums. They're looking for like I said, one or two hit singles.
Commercial hit.
And then if you then have a lot of followers, it means that your streams from the weaker songs can still be massive enough to earn you some kind of income. Rather than trying to focus and say, okay, 10, 12 songs, bam, 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 let me hit everything. So anyway, it's the way we are now.
It's where we are now. All right, guys, time has flown by. But Akon, he has claimed that collabs that he did with Nigerian artists and music execs in late 2000s gave birth to what is now known as Afrobeat. Is brother Akon on something here?
James,
Yeah, he's lying. That's a lie. He's lying.
How can be this blunt?
First of all, let me tell you guys, Akon jumped on popular songs that were big, huge already. He jumped on those songs. Chop My Money was already in existence. Wizkid's song that he was on was already existing. Davido's Omo Babalowo was already a big hit. All the songs that he jumped on were, and then nobody was even talking about Afrobeats at that time. It wasn't even in the conversation. And then now all of these things have happened now. Then you now come and say, oh, bro, stop it. You're lying.
Are you saying, wait, James, I have to interrogate what you just said. Are you saying that Drake is more important in the Afrobeat story than Drake?
Yes.
No, but I don't think that's entirely true. I don't think that's fully fair.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
No, so not about, okay, so let's not downplay, the support. But guys, again, I'll still tell you, was Akon not paid for all the collaborations he did with the Nigerian guys? Please answer the question.
But I don't know that money. We're not discussing money. Drake was also paid.
No, he did support. Yes, so it's a different. But that's what I'm saying. That Drake also played the part based on, in fact, in more recent time, where the conversation of real Afrobeat started expanding into those other climes. But with Akon, did the song go global? Did the song go international? Did the song go out of this Africa? They did not. But yes, he was Akon. Of course, he had his own stride, he had his own people, and it was cool that Akon was remixing and singing with our guys. But after that, how much else or what else did he really do for the African guys? And see the way he was still talking about signing them. Bro, if we go back, I have some backs. If I go into stories or pull up receipts, you hear that Akon really did not do anything for any of these guys. So let's not stop capping, man.
Oh,
okay. And said I swear down. But don't say
exactly. James is just not having it. Anyway, look, I want to say that because at least one of the first videos that kind of I guess went somewhere, although James is right, he didn't really go anywhere, he didn't really go outside Africa. Although I think the UK kind of were interested in our music at the time, was Chop My Money. I know that video had Mehdi, had the P-Square twins, and had Akon. I think they didn't do a video for the original. I don't think they did. The video they did was for the remix.
Oh, the remix.
So in a way, so give the guys credit, please. I don't know. He didn't launch anything.
I cannot say you are now one of the pioneers of Afrobeat. No, now. He wasn't. He didn't do that. That's my own contention. He's saying that, like laying claim to, come on now. No. He did not.
Exactly, yes. I think this was one of the issues I had back in the day, that a lot of the people were featuring, people like, P-Square, one of the people who actually did their best to kind of work with international acts, was that I felt like the songs were getting big here, but they were still being unknown at their own market. You understand? So you did a song with the Beautiful in Ye song, for instance, we had with Cross. It was a big deal that, we had a Cross on a Nigerian song back in the day. But that song did not appear on any charts in the US. So it always felt like this thing was too transactional and not even in the way that helped our people show up in their own markets. Right. So I remember there was somebody, I think it was Reminisce, who said it, that lots of the collaborations were helping those American artists become popular here, but they were not helping our own artists become popular there. I think that's the major thing you can accuse Akon of doing. Like, Ross, you did not help our music become big in, unlike Drake, for instance, become big in the US. So why should we start thanking you for being like the international pioneer of what we have? You were in some of the songs, but frankly, you can't say he did a lot. And again, Akon has already said he signed Wizkid, but according to him, Nigerians do not pay attention to contracts. So only God knows how much money was exchanged there. So, and if there was not a lot of money then James is right. It means that in terms of bringing the music to across the shores, you did not do much. In terms of putting money into it, you didn't do much. So why should we now be killing you?
All right. On that note, let me take your messages. As Fajo says, Mama Fajo, she would deal with me and would move on.
So Fajo, if you have what's it called now, 2 billion in your account, your mom can still deal with you. I wonder.
Uluwache says, yeah, sounding like an afterthought these days. Coming in a couple seconds late, like he was busy doing something else. And then he remembers he had to throw it up. Nico, what is taking your attention?
Ask him, James, come answer.
He then says,
I'm with you guys virtually. That's why. So sometimes the thing comes 2 seconds late.
I agree with that assertion. Really, I do.
Yeah.
He further says, you think they're braiding hair, bad Abby? You never hear of thousands of mothers buying laptops for their teenagers and taking them to people to teach them to do internet work. I mean, I alluded to that. James is a Nigerian. The boss has eaten deep.
Yes,
and Oris, you did for LinkedIn. I want to catch you there.
Yes.
After you all over the place.
You have to figure out the spelling of my name. Just vote for it and AIG, whatever thing of send the request.
Chimisi says, James is part of the problem in this country, and it's not even Gen Z. James don't hear advice at all.
James is the issue. James, when I get to the way it is, it's not anybody in power. It is James. It is James in his house. It's James that's the problem.
Why me? Not me.
Olamide fans are called our goons.
This is back in the day. As James pointed out, Olamide has tried to rebrand. So he's no longer in the goons ministry anymore. He has changed.
All right. Tyre says, in this day and age, now who get money they call family meeting? Rema, true story.
Yes.
That's how we saw Fireboy DML's mom on social media adjusting his hairstyle. Rema with tattoos and dreads went to his church and dropped millions. That one is a testament.
True, very true.
More lawyer, doctor, pharmacist, or engineer ambition. Happy Workers' Day. Wish you to say
I used to be a pharmacist. Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Used to be. Olamide is working hard. He should hurry up and shoot a video before Whiskey changes his mind and says it's no longer available. It's like Davido's 4 is struggling with that. 5. Five. He put 4. Tyler. Davido's 5 is struggling with Crane's 5. Akon has promised Senegal free lights. Start telling us he's a pioneer. I unlocked the studio. I need to catch that guy. Tyler,
I don't know.
Tyler, pull up.
So why you say you want? Okay, that's about his mother. Okay, for Sefajo, I agree. Your mother is probably the one true Nigerian parent that we still have. We praise God for that.
And on YouTube, Ayofeda that says, I think the word to describe Davido's new album is bland.
It's kind of true though, but ish.
All right, on that note, even though I don't want to, we need to call it a morning on the grapevine. Thank you so much for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1. All the messages and making it a fun time. Big thank you to you, Oris, and of course, James, for doing what he did.
Absolutely.
Yes,
so
yes,
James Silas on social media, yeah? James Silas, one word, Instagram, X, Facebook, everywhere.
LinkedIn.
Reach out to me. Say you're from the grapevine or Halaba.
James, are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn as well.
I have, because that's the one they're asking for now. Anyway, yes,
I'm on LinkedIn, James Silas. Yes.
Yeah, so it's catch Oris on X and catch Oris now on Instagram. After I tossed my account, those evil people on Instagram. And it's Oris I will on LinkedIn actually. So you have to figure out if you can spell that, send me a request on LinkedIn. That would be cool.
All right, thank you so much. Tyre, studio is locked to pull up real quick.
I bind you. I'm running away now.
Keep it to the Smooth 98.1 before we continue great music, getting you into your May Day celebrations. Lagos, have a great one.
There you go.